Hi everyone, welcome to Trains on Tuesday, 15th of May 2018. Not going to be a lot of trains in this one today, but it's all about trains. It's going to be all me talking. A lot to say today, an awful lot to say today. I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible. I want to start off with the subject of subscriptions to YouTube. I'm up to 260 subscriptions as of today. Amazing. Thank you all. Thank you. I do get a number of subscriptions where people say, I have subbed, can you please sub back? Very brief answer to that, no. I don't sub for sub. What I do is when I get a new subscription, I take the time to look at that person's channel and view several videos, usually several videos that person has created, and then I make my decision based on your content and my interest. If you have content that I am interested in, then yes, I'll give you a sub, but I don't sub for sub. Now, moving on, the main subject of today is some shout outs and thank yous. We're here right now over the turntable project, which has hardly progressed at all since we did a couple of videos on it, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago. One thing I have done is move the car shops over this way a little bit, which has given me a fueling track here for the locos. Still not sure, none of this is pinned down. This is, the rest of this is. Not sure that I'm going to stay with this. Back at the time I was doing this, there was discussion about the 9-inch turntable and the fact that an awful lot of locomotives don't fit on it. There's a U-boat and it barely fits. The SD 4390 Mac there absolutely does not fit, or the E8 that's in behind it. E8, E9, I'm not sure on that one. E8 I think. At the time there was discussion on a bigger turntable, and I did mention that I have a bigger turntable. And the question was, well, why don't you put a bigger one in there? Well, the one I had is this one. A Fleischmann. Beautiful, beautiful turntable. Everything I've got fits on there, except maybe some of the largest of my steam locomotives. This was given to me, absolutely given to me, by my hobby shop, my local hobby shop. And I think one of the reasons they gave it to me is the fact that there were some segments missing. I did look it up to see about buying more segments, and I found them very expensive. Not sure about the motor. I could wire the track up and get things moving on the track, but I just wasn't able to get the motor to move at all. So I've got the motor out of it right now and I can manually turn it. Anyway, in the discussions, through comments and one thing and another, Andy in Germany told me that he had spare segments and they'd be happy to send them to me. So, lo and behold, one day this package arrived in the mail from Andreas, Deutschland, to David Atkins, Canada, and that's Canada with a K, which I found very, very interesting. Big box, and contained within it was the smaller box of Fleischmann segments, including some with track on. So that enables me to snap these into place and complete the ring around my turntable. Now this ring is very important because it contains the gear teeth to run the motor around. So you do have to have the complete circle of segments. I have yet to put the motor back in and test this out, but along with everything else in that package was a Fleischmann controller for the turntable. Andy, from my heart I say thank you. I just now have to decide whether I'm going to use it here or not. To try and fit this in here, this is a lift out removable section because I still have my wood burner underneath it that connects up into the chimney there, and I want to keep that there in case we get a storm and a prolonged power outage during the winter. At least I can keep the house warm when it's minus 30 outside or something like that. Anyway, to fit this in here, really tough to find a spot. It would have to go somewhere approximately there, and the tracks would then have to, loco tracks would have to run off that side, I think. Due to the construction of this for the lift off, it cannot come further back this way or towards the edges anywhere. In addition to that, the roundhouse does not match up with the track spacings, so there would be no roundhouse building on here if I use this in here. So I have to think about it and decide if I'm putting this in here or if I'm saving it for another location on another day. So there will be a link to Andy's channel in the description. While we're here, we're gonna move to a different part of the layout in a moment to carry on. But while we're here, on the day I flew to Calgary with Ryan showed up at my door at 4:30 in the morning, and he handed me a few things here. This is for Oscar, by the way. This part of it more than anybody else, I think. Oscar, I got a nice little Triang Shell oil bottle. It's empty, but still a little greasy. In addition, I'm going to wipe my fingers here. In addition to that, I got the 1965-66 Triang Railways for Canada catalogue. Ryan also gave me the 67-68. Now I want to point something out on here. Take a look at the Triang Railways logo there, and then the Triang Railways logo there, because in addition to all that, there was the 1971 edition. And take a look at how that logo progressed from Triang Railways to Triang Hornby. I can do that without blocking it. Hopefully you can see that. Anyway, of special note in there, all of these say Canadian HO trains. They're not HO, they're 00. Canadian. Included Canadian is Princess Elizabeth, Flying Scotsman, and a Coronation Scot, streamlined, and some coaches, British coaches. I thought that was interesting that they tucked those into a Canadian specific catalogue. Anyhow, we are going to take a short break here while I move the camera, and we'll carry on in a different part of the layout. Back in a moment. Okay, that didn't take long, did it? Well, at least not for you. Moving on. Quite recently, another one of the YouTubers that I'm subscribed to, Simon, posted a video in which he showed an adaptation of a Triang crane. he removed the crane from the chassis and mounted it on a platform. Looks really good. But I said to him in my comments, I said, I hope you didn't do any damage to the crane as you did that, because those cranes are sought after, quite sought after. And he replied, well, they're all over the place here in car boot sales and things like that. See them often. And I said to him, well, if you see one that's in decent condition and not too badly priced, I said, pick one up for me and I'll pay for it and get it from you somehow. Lo and behold, I get a personal message, I don't know, less than 2 weeks later, I think, saying, well, I got your crane. I couldn't believe it. I said, well, great, we'll work out how I'm going to pay you for this, and we'll get it on the way. But I said, before you do, I would like you to put the crane on your layout and shoot a video around it. And he said, sure, no problem. And he said, don't worry about paying for it. Okay. Wow. So Simon did. He put a video up with the crane, big Canadian flag all across the across the video. He ended up doing it in a two-parter because I think either his battery died or something cut out anyway, and he ended up doing it as a two-parter. But anyway, he did a video on my crane. So lo and behold, in the mail this past Tuesday, I think it was, this package arrived. Just to Mr. D. Atkins, Canada. From S. in England. That box is so well packaged. I think the Bank of England could hire you, Simon, to protect a bit of gold bullion or something. Anyway, inside was not only my crane, but a very nice letter. I'm not going to open that up and read it to you, but a very nice personal letter from Simon. I'm gonna try and meet up with Simon when I next come over. So there's the box, and there's my little Trian crane. It's in pretty nice shape. It has had a little damage done to it, but it's been repaired and done quite well. And the little bolster wagon that goes with it. Now, what Simon doesn't know at this point, is why I really wanted it. And here's the answer. And again, we come back to Oscar Paisley at this point in time, because Oscar just a little over a week ago now, did a video on a Ginty and a crane and engineer's coach. All the components that make up the RS-30 set, and Oscar mentioned that this made up the RS-30 set, although he had the components as individual pieces in a box. Now you can see this box is pretty rough, tatty, torn. I was given this by my brother-in-law when his father passed away several years ago. And inside this tatty box is the Ginty, the coach, and an oval of track. I didn't know what was missing here for quite a while, but a little bit of research showed me that bogey bolster fits there. And that crane very carefully fits there. So now I have, albeit a tatty box, a boxed RS-30 set. Simon, thank you. Thank you from my heart. Wonderful. I look forward to seeing you, meeting you, and having a fun day together. Moving on. Also around all this time, prior to the crane, possibly around the time that I was doing the turntable project, I got a contact from Kiwi Rail, Kiwi British Rail in New Zealand. Personal message: please send me your address, I have something for you. Okay. Little bit of bantering back and forth. I don't like sending my address through YouTube, through personal messages. I prefer to get an email address and do it outside the realm of YouTube. So I did that. Anyway, Mark there at Kiwi British Rail got back to me and said, okay, send in your package, send in your parcel. Let me know when it gets there. I said, okay. Well, at least 2 weeks went by, maybe 3, and nothing. And then all of a sudden I get another email from Mark, and he said, sorry, I didn't get it posted. I'll do it today. I said, okay. I'll start watching for it again. Go back to the beginning. Another 2 weeks went by, and another email showed up. Mark said, sorry, I got called away from work and I was gone for 2 weeks. I'll get it mailed today. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, sure. And a little over a week ago now, I got another email. Anything yet? I said, no, nothing yet. I said, if it takes anything like as long as my traction tyres took being mailed from England, I said that I won't even start looking for it for another 2 months. And lo and behold, Thursday of this week, this package showed up to Dave Atkins, Canada, from M for Mark, NZ, New Zealand. And what did I find in there? Cheers, Mark. Lovely hot cup of coffee from my New Zealand police mug. Choking up over what I'm going to say now. This world is full of kind, generous people. Thank you, Mark, again from my heart. This has been here just a couple of days, just a few days at the time that I'm recording this, and I've drunk about 8 or 10 mugs of coffee out of this. I have another retired neighbour, and we get together for a coffee once in a while, maybe once every 2 weeks or so. We had a coffee yesterday. I showed him my New Zealand mug. Now, another YouTuber that I really enjoy watching is Michael Chartres. Michael's in Wales. And Michael is currently working on a project building a harbour. He's having a lot of fun doing it. It's looking really nice. Now, knowing that Michael was a sailor, I asked him a question about a model that I got. I got a model in a job lot sale one time and I built it. I didn't know much about it, and this model is a Lindbergh kit, and Lindbergh were notorious for putting the overall size in inches but no scale. No scale mentioned anywhere on this. And so I asked Michael if he could give me the dimensions of a skipjack sailing vessel. Now the skipjack was an oyster boat developed around Chesapeake Bay, a long way from here, a long way from my Highland Valley Railway. Specially designed, very broad beam and shallow draft. Used for oysters, but I didn't know the dimensions, so I didn't know whether my model would be appropriate for use on HO scale layout. So Michael did a quick bit of research and got back to me with the dimensions, and I measured out my model and I thought, yeah, that's about right. It'll work. So here, Michael, for you, is a look at my skipjack. My skipjack boat. I wore this particular sweatshirt thing here today because I thought the rigging on here would show up against that quite well. Anyway, I put 4 Dapol railway figures on there, and they seem to fit really nicely. The only thing that would give it away as being a bit too small is the little boat on the back here. It has oars and I don't know, a little motor housing it looks like on there, but that little boat would barely hold 2 of these figures. But there it is. Basically a free kit because it was in a job lot, and if I built a dock face along there, that would sit in there quite nicely with HO scale equipment beside it. There we go. So that's it for my my day. That's all I've got to say. Hopefully in the comments a lot of you will have things to say, because as I've said before, I really enjoy reading your comments and replying to each and every one. I hardly think that I've ever missed replying to any comments, other than the ones that somehow get shoved into spam and I can't seem to find a way to get them out sometimes. Anyway, that's it for this Trains on Tuesday. Yeah. Before I go, I have so much footage. I still have footage from England last September for perhaps another 5 videos, and it's been so busy around here lately, particularly with Via Rail being late. I've got a couple more weeks worth of Via Rail stuff that I really want to share with you, plus CN activity and things like that. I've got footage already to keep me going now, I don't know, into August, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more things happening around the Heritage Railway and on the Rail Railway, and perhaps, hopefully, some more happening here around the Highland Valley Model Railway. I could do with about 3 Tuesdays a week. What a thought. Cheers everyone. See you again on another Tuesday. Bye.